Hello, this is Anna Imagination. This is part one of Triadic Healing with the Healing Garden. I just released two prior videos. This is the third one of three. This is where we sit down at the foundation. This is part one. This particular group, the first group that I went over was group 3 for light work, world peace, and manifestation. These are for our healers, our visionaries who seek to change the world and come up with the blueprints on how to do that. Part 2 is the cultivators. These are the people who are healers, parents, teachers, who are business owners and business executives looking to basically nurture our future and cultivate a better future that is inspired off of the blueprints that we receive from part 3, the visionaries. Part 1 is foundation. This is where it all begins. This is for people who are in perspectives 1, 2, and 3. But because Triadic Healing is new, everybody starts here because we haven't had this integrated yet into our system to get everybody on the same page to level up. So as a result, we're looking at everyone starting here at part 1. Part 1 is based off of this one principle. Are we listening? Because this is it. A society is only as strong and as healthy as the foundation in which it is built. The foundation is our children, levels 1, levels 2, and level 3. We can determine the strength of our future based on how those 3 perspectives are functioning. So if we look at people, adults who are basically in their 40s and 50s and they're behaving like they're stuck in perspectives 2 and 3, that tells you a lot about how we are building a foundation for our future. So triadic healing goes back to the beginning and basically corrects the timeline. And I'm going to show you what I mean by this. In a previous video, this is from a few weeks ago, I explained that there is optimum mental health and then there is abuse that occurs. Abuse that occurs is perspective abuse. And whenever we receive perspective abuse, we receive one message. That message is 2 things. It is not safe enough to grow, and it is not safe enough to be yourself. So what ends up happening is we suffer from perspective abuse, where our subconscious mind breaks off, we stop growing and we become stagnant. And then we stop growing and we stay at whatever subconscious mind perspective it was safest to stay in. So we have a lot of people who are a 6 ethically, who are a 7 or a 5 ethically. But because of abuse, perspective abuse, they are stuck at perspectives 2, 3, or 4, and they can't get out of those. So when you go to do a job, when you go to start your own business, you're thinking level 5 perspective. You want to start your own yoga studio. You're in there, you're doing it, and then you stop and you feel guilt and shame. That is your perspective abuse kicking in from your subconscious mind level 2 or 3 or 4 saying, that's dangerous. You shouldn't be doing that. And it causes imposter syndrome and it interrupts your progress. Perspective 2, 3, and 4 have a completely different viewpoint of love, rules, regulations. Now, these perspectives 2, 3, and 4, are from when we were ages 2, 3, and 4 years old. So that when we are trying to obey all of the rules that society says we have to obey, we're actually thinking like a 4-year-old. Because 4-year-olds love rules. 4-year-olds are like, it's bedtime now. We have to make sure we do everything by the book because the rules say so. It's a very rule-based mentality. 5-year-olds love to talk about the future, love to think about what I'm going to be when I grow up. And that's when the 5-year-old steps out with perspective 5 and they think things like, I'm going to be an actress when I grow up, which is great until their level 2 or level 3 parent comes along and says, that's a terrible job. You shouldn't do that. Now the child has learned that it's not safe to be a perspective 5, so they conform to perspective 2 and 3 via perspective abuse, and they start living this lifeline instead of this lifeline. This is optimum mental health, and this is perspective abuse. Most of us are here. Most of us, I mean like 99.9% of the planet is here. People who decide to heal are actually coming up to optimum mental health when they are aligned with their ethical perspective and their subconscious perspective is all on the same page. But we don't know that that's what we're doing because this material is like brand spanking new. So it's from perspective psychology that I've created, put together, and am introducing to say this is what's wrong with the world, and this is how we're going to fix it. And it starts with something called perspective thinking. I have a Learn the Lingo playlist that I just released yesterday that presents all of this. Today is day 2 of all of this, where I'm organizing it and I'm putting it all into categories, explaining to you that there's parts 1, 2, and 3. And part 1 is foundational. Now, once you realign yourself so that your subconscious mind has grown efficiently, properly to meet and align with your ethics, you'll be up to optimum mental health. This is when violence, rage, anger ends. This is when depression ends. This is when mental illness completely goes away, because mental illness is a consequence from being misaligned on perspective abuse on that wrong line. So basically, the Triadic Healing corrects this and puts you on the right plane of existence so you are aligned with the energy. Now, a lot of people are at perspective 6, 7, and 8, and they have, through trial and error and without any of this vernacular, managed to get as far as they can. But my God, is it a long, difficult road, because there has not been a paved roadmap yet. Welcome to Triadic Healing, where I lay out the pathway for you. This way you can go, oh, these are my coordinates. My ethical perspective is this. My subconscious mind's perspective is this. And I've been forced to live in this kind of an environment. As a result, my combination is ethics, perspective, environment. Now I know it's wrong. I'm not aligned. What I need is everybody aligned to whatever their ethical perspective is. Everybody needs this. Everyone must be aligned to what their ethics says they are. So if you feel you should be a 6, then you need to get your subconscious mind to a 6. To do that, you need to cultivate psychological safety, which is the first step of triadic healing, cultivating psychological safety that allows you to learn that it's okay to talk and learn that it's okay to grow. Once you overcome these 2 fears, then Triadic Healing really opens up for you, and you can start doing the progression that you need to go through all the different steps. Every step, every perspective has a checklist. Once you've accomplished all of those checklists, you're ready for the next stage, and you can just go through like that. Alignment is extraordinary. When you get to alignment, that is where happiness is. This is the pursuit of happiness. You are pursuing your alignment. Happiness is when you are fully aligned. A combination is once it's 666 or 555 or 444 or whatever it is, and you've gotten to where you want to go, you have one more question to answer. And that is, do I value growth or comfort? Now that I'm aligned, you can choose that. Growth or comfort. And there is no wrong answer. This is very personal. Absolutely very personal. But it requires an absolute celebration, more than tolerance, celebration of our differences and our identity. It requires the removal of the hierarchy of I'm better than you, I'm older than you, I'm more educated than you, I'm a different race than you, I'm a different religion with you, therefore I'm better. That's hierarchical thinking, and that needs to be thrown out. Everybody is equal. Everybody is required for everybody else. Everybody needs everybody else. And when that concept starts to really set in and you start to understand how perspective thinking changes all this, how perspective thinking allows you to bridge the gap between the perspectives, violence, rage, war, anger, mental illness go away. It completely dissolves. Now, it is up to the 7s, 8s, and 9s to start this process. They are the ones to start knocking it over, because they're going to have to teach the 5, 6, and 7s. And that's what I do. I'm up there with the, see, you can't say up there anymore, can we? It's no longer a hierarchy. There is no up and there is no down. It's now I am over there in the visionaries. That's where my home base is. I am in the 7, 8, and 9 range. It's not up because it's not a hierarchy. And that's what I mean. We need to change our language. And that's exactly what I do in Triadic Healing is I teach you the new language. That way we stop using the wrong words to cultivate the wrong message. And that's what we're doing. This is all a massive problem with the wrong communication. As soon as I discovered the right words and the communication and the thinking, immediately the whole thing flowed and went right into place. So I am now hosting classes. All of my classes start with cultivating the safety, learning the language and getting the right language in place. And then we get you into triadic healing. Once you are there, you have the foundation to live optimum mental health. And you can either stay where you are and enjoy that comfort, or you can grow. And that's totally up to you once you're aligned. The second stage is deciding then, am I going to go on to be a teacher? Do I want to be a business owner? Do I want to be a parent? Do I want to be a healer? And that is something you can absolutely explore once part 2 opens up to you. Once you have settled into part 2 and you've branched out into all the different how to teach, how to be parenting, and how to be a healer or a business owner, then the next question is, do you want to go on to part 3 where you're doing uber healing with manifestation and with creating a new world and with doing light work and manifesting world peace? That's all part 3. So it's absolutely a massive, where do you want to be? Where are you going? But what's holding you back? Let's go back to part 1 and take a look at your subconscious mind. Where were your parents? What subconscious minds were guiding you as caregivers? That's the question we need to explore in part 1. So classes begin in August. On August 14th, I will be releasing my first round of master classes. This is free for teachers. So if you are a teacher, sign up. We will get you in and we'll start you on the first course. This is, again, free for teachers. And this is going to be cultivated into another segment for part 2, where I give triadic healing to teachers and schools across the United States to start. So free for teachers. If you are a teacher, go ahead and sign up. I have the information available over at the treasure map at anashealinggarden.org, the treasure map, and also under Design Your Journey. So, and if you don't see the link, let me know and I'll get that set up right away. So the first round is going to be on 14th of August. And I will also be starting with cultivating. I'm going to be combining power of self in this. So power of self will be combined with the first round of master classes. And then after that, we're going to be releasing the second round of masterclasses and then the third round. But the first one is going to be recorded live. So sign up is now available. If you are wanting to jump into that round, masterclass is phenomenal. If you are a business owner, small business owner, and you're wanting to just jump right in and go the full length of, I know I'm a 6, I know I'm a 7, and I'm stuck at 2. Let's get this done. Masterclass is for you. If you are looking to something that's more budget friendly because you're on a budget, take a look at membership. Membership is $120 a month, and that is that gets you Journey into the Self, which is the daily workshop where I sit down and I work with you on this. You have troubleshooting, you have Q&A, you have me available one-on-one consultation, and you get full access to me where I sit down and we go over every little individual thing that you need as I work you through all the different levels, parts 1, part 2, part 3. But we're going to focus first on part 1, and we're going to start breaking down the 3 life titans: identity, the conscious awareness, and then the subconscious mind, and then conscious awareness. And that's part of that. That all starts in the middle of August. I also have World Manifestation Day starting up. If you're interested in world peace, that is coming up. I'm going to start manifestation classes early. That way we can start manifesting on world peace, because June of 2024, I plan to meet in New York City and host a live event for World Peace Manifestation Day. And next month, I actually am launching this massive project with one of my with another business, and she and I are collaborating on my project. I meet with her on the 31st of July. I am also bringing in my podcast to all of this. So I have people who basically need to work on self-care, raising the identity in their defense system. That's going to be part of it. It is a lot of information. And the only way to really stay up on all of it is to subscribe to my channel, subscribe to my newsletter, and subscribe to my Facebook group. Get yourself in the group, get into a class. Once you are into one of the universities, once you're into my university or one of the classes there, everything will start rolling for you, and we'll basically get you set up in the structure. That way you can basically start decreasing the gap between perspectives. So I think that's everything. Take a look at my website, annashealinggarden.org, subscribe to the newsletter, and figure out which class is going to be best for you. Decide for as far as finding your coordinates, where you want to be and where you want to go. That information is also on my website under finding your coordinates. That way you can start getting a direction as to where you want to be, where you want to go. And we're going to start with just locating your ethics, your ethical perspective. This is not going to reflect your subconscious mind's perspective. Your subconscious mind's perspective is something I get into in Triadic Healing, because it requires information about your parents, and it requires information about how you were raised and what exactly you are stuck on, depending upon what you're stuck on. If you're stuck on a constant anger, violent mode, then perspective 3 is your primary subconscious mind's perspective. If you are hyper focused on religion and witchcraft, or if you are hyper focused on the importance of religion and or witchcraft, that's going to put you at perspective 2. If you are hyper focused on following the rules and making sure everyone conforms to in the box thinking with following the laws and the rules, welcome to perspective 4 thinking. And those are usually the 3 that hold people back, that stop you. Are you a 2, a 3, or a 4? Is your subconscious mind a 2, a 3, or your 4? If your mother or your father was hyper religion and they made sure that you had that shoved down your throat, that is perspective abuse from the second perspective. If you were physically violently abused or assaulted, that was perspective 3, perspective abuse. If you had an ultra conformist, strict upbringing where you had to follow the rules, that is perspective 4 abuse. And if you have a combination of 2 or all 3 of these, which is very likely, you have all 3 of them that you're going to have to go over. Go with the smallest first, 2, and then 3, and then 4, because the subconscious mind stops growing at that perspective. It doesn't proceed because it's not safe enough to grow. So you have to continue the subconscious mind growing from whichever perspective you were abused at. So if you were abused by all 3, you have to start with 2, and you have to coach your subconscious mind into stage 3. You're going to need a lot of isolation, and then into stage 4, and then into stage 5, and then you'll find your alignment, and then you can be happy. And then we'll be able to take you to part 2. Part 2 is for people who have reached levels 5, 6, and 7. 4, 5, and 6 subconsciously. So if you are 4, 4 and you're aligned, you're now ready for part 2. If you are 5, 5 aligned, you are ready for part 2. If you are 6, 6 aligned, you are ready for part 2. Got it? That's how this works. So I'm going to break this down more on my website under finding your coordinates. This should take care of everything, and we're all set here. So looking forward to seeing you for my August class. Thank you, and may the kindest of words always find you.